Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to thank Senator Lieberman, who is chairman of the group that Mark runs. Senator Lieberman is a great American patriot, a man of distinguished service, who was one of the people that very early on warned us that this regime in Iran was unlike anything else in the world in terms of the oppression, the tyranny, the support for terrorism. And I want to thank all of you for being part of this international convention for the future of Iran, because Iran's population of more than 80 million people has been held hostage for now 40 years. That's a very long time. And they're being held hostage by a regime, and there's not enough terrible things you can say about it. It's a tyranny, it's a theocracy, it's a terrorist regime. They kill their own people, and they spend money on killing other people. And we've tolerated them for too long. They're an affront to human decency, and they're a disgrace for any country that does business with them. Iran is an occupied country. It's also the biggest state sponsor of terrorism in the world. And I want you to focus on what it means to be a state sponsor of terrorism. And I say this directly to the European countries that do business with Iran. To be a state sponsor of terrorism means you give money to terrorists. The terrorists use that money to kill innocent people. The terrorists have used that money, just in case we want to make it personal, to kill Americans, as well as the very Europeans that the European governments are supporting. Well, somebody's got to eventually point out, and I say this, and I'm more than willing to back it up. If you give $1 to Iran, you're giving 50 cents to murdering an innocent human being. At least. How can your conscience deal with that if you're the head of France or Germany or a civilized country? And it's about time that they stop. So I call them the regime of terror. They have been from the first Ayatollah to the second, to all of the murdering mullahs and all these other, what we call in America, charlatans. Another word for charlatan would be phony, con man. They pose as religious leaders, and they're really local gangsters. They remind me of the mafia that I dealt with in America, except they're more violent, and they're more brutal. And they're getting more support from the civilized world, which is a tragedy. But we're here today, and we're going to support a regime of freedom for Iran. That's why we're here. This will be a regime that's democratic, republic form of government. It will have very, very strong guarantees, like our Bill of Rights, for freedom of religion, separation of church and state, equal treatment for everyone, for minorities, ethnic minorities, other minorities, and I must say, most importantly, equal, fair, and decent treatment for women. We agree that Iran should not possess nuclear weapons. There's no need for that. And we agree that Iran should abolish the death penalty. It also has to be clear, because we don't want these murdering mullahs and the Ayatollah to divide and conquer. We stand for one Iran, territorial integrity, we can all get along, but we can't get along with them because they want to kill us. Ayatollah Khamenei and his criminal syndicate are thieves. They pose as religious leaders. They're stealing money from the Iranian people. As we gather here today, Hassan Rouhani and the Foreign Minister Javad Zarif are walking around the United Nations, and people are shaking hands with them. And Rouhani is a moderate. Ha! A moderate. The moderates kill more people than Ahmadinejad. He's got more blood on his hands than just about anybody in Iran. And I warn anyone shaking his hands that you're going to get blood on your hands if you shake his hand, because the man is a murderer. Do not be fooled like a lot of the Western media. This man is a, I said one more time, a murderer, mass murderer. And like the Ayatollah, and like Zarif, he shouldn't just be thrown out of the country, he should be prosecuted for crimes against humanity, and quickly. So they're here to kind of pose as moderates. They want to negotiate. At the same time, just a couple of days ago, a week ago, they attacked not just Saudi Arabia, they attacked the world's energy supply. And here's why they're doing it. They're doing it because they're in trouble, and they know they're in trouble. Since the beginning of January 2018, there have been well over 200 major demonstrations in Iran. And I want the media particularly to focus on this because a lot of things you don't cover, the American people aren't being informed properly. Inside of Iran are continuous protests. And that has to tell you that these murdering dictators are sitting there saying, this is usually what happens when people like them get overthrown. That's why they attacked the Saudi Arabian oil fields. That's why they attacked the American drone. That's why they took British ships. They're acting irresponsibly, and they're trying to create a cause to unite their people. It's a common tactic of a dictator at the very end. You create foreign problems and attacks to distract from the fact that you are torturing, oppressing, and stealing from your people. So wake up, France. Wake up, Germany, and stop giving them money. Last year, when they started to act irresponsibly, twice they did something very extraordinary. In the beginning of the year, they sent 3 people to Albania. They sent them to Albania to bomb a particular gathering at Ashraf 3. It was a New Year's Eve gathering. It was a New Year's gathering, Islamic New Year. Very, very beautiful gathering. 3 people were arrested. One of them an Iranian diplomat. They had plans for Ashraf. They had the convention program. And they had equipment and plans to bomb that facility, to kill Madam Rajavi, others. And I don't know if they knew I was going to be there, but they were going to kill me also. I'm sure they'd like to do that. Second, a few months later, I was at a gathering in Paris with far many more people, 100,000 people showing up. This time, Newt Gingrich, Attorney General Mukasey, Senator Torricelli, Senator Lieberman, and on and on and on. Maybe 4 former heads of state, including from Australia and Canada, large number of the Irish Parliament, the English Parliament, maybe 150 very, very distinguished, honorable citizens from their countries, including a significant number of members of our military, all of whom support the end of this regime. Well, 4 people were arrested in Belgium, again, with an Iranian diplomat, and they had bomb implements, they had explosive devices, and they are being charged now with attempted terrorism, namely to kill us. Now, the point that I make about that is, look how desperate they are. It's a stupid thing to do, to have your official, an Iranian diplomat, leading a bombing mission. What kind of country has a diplomat that leads a bombing mission, but a country that is thoroughly terrorist, thoroughly deranged, and homicidal, and a government that's in great fear of being extinguished, because that's when you make mistakes. And France gives them money? Please, wake up, change your mind, cut off business with Iran tomorrow, and stand up for decency. If we talk about religious minority, ethnic minorities are singled out for torture and terror. Religious minorities are singled out The time has come for the complete abolishment of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. President Trump named the RGC and the Quds Force terrorist groups a short while ago, something President Obama should have done years ago. But thank God we have a president now who stands up to Iran and doesn't give them billions of dollars, which I feel embarrassed about. I feel embarrassed that my country has helped support them. That's why it's hard for me to condemn France for doing it, except for the fact that we've stopped. We don't have President Obama any longer giving them billions of dollars in cash. So, the time has come for equal rights for women, worldwide support of terrorism, and due to the great work of my friends at NCRI, MEK, and all these terrific groups, today, very shortly, the people in Iran will hear what we're saying. They may be in control right now, but the end is near. It's going to happen. It's going to come. The faster it happens, the better. Fewer people die. So I truly believe that sooner, not later, freedom will prevail there. And this gathering today, where all these groups have come together, that might have some differences otherwise, but they realize that the goal of a united, free, democratic Iran is necessary to save your people, and I don't think I'm exaggerating if I say it's necessary to save the world. So thank you, and I am with you. Thank you.